We have what can only be described as a sleek, sexy automobile behind you. Tell us about the new 7 Series.
Well, this is the new 7 Series, 6th generation, so a lot of history, and everyone's been more successful than the last. This one's got many world firsts, so 13 new technologies on this vehicle. Some very simple ones like gesture control, so you can make the radio go up, you can make the radio go down. So
my driver can make the radio go up. I'm a driver.
You can in the back using a small tablet as well. You can do everything from that. It can self-park itself, so you can get out of the car, you can use your key, and you can move it into a very narrow space. It's much lighter than the previous generation, 130 kilos lighter, or 300 pounds if we want to turn it into a different way. Yeah. That's a full-grown adult, and all of the luggage in the boot. Yeah. So very sporty, very dynamic, and very luxurious.
Well, your full-grown adult friends are a little bigger than mine, but we won't judge. We won't judge this morning. When we talk about what's happening in China, I'm a Chinese princeling. I want to be chauffeured around in that. What's going to happen for the next 2 or 3 months? We've kind of seen what's been described as a normalization. What happens for the rest of the year?
We always expected China to normalize. In fact, during 2014, we thought it would be a much lower growth rate. We ended last year with 17%, 450,000 sales. As of the end of August this year, we're just shy of 1% growth. So it's still an enormous market. It's still the largest car market in the world. But as you say, it is not the heady double-digit growth. It probably will end up flat, slightly negative, slightly positive. Having said all of that, clearly there is a headwind in the economy there, which is, I think, depressing some of the sort of confidence in the consumer. But, every month we're selling 35, 36, 37,000 cars.
So a headwind in China, is it a cliff in Brazil?
Brazil is a smaller market from the premium segment. The overall car market there for us is around 15,000 units. We've invested in Brazil recently, so we brought a new plant online about 6-7 months ago. The economy is definitely seeing some strain, and of course that is washing through into consumer sentiment there. I think overall, both the Brazilian economy and the Chinese economy, in the longer term, are still great car markets, and we're invested for the long term.
So in Brazil in 2016, you sell more or less than 2015?
I think it's going to be probably slightly less than we did in 2014.
Okay. That gives you a sense, though, of what's happening on the macro position. When we look at what might happen with the Federal Reserve this week, is that something you guys look at?
Yeah, we look at economic performance all the way around the world, and we look at what the Fed's doing, we look at what the Bank of England's doing, we look at the ECB, because these have emotional effects on the marketplace, and customers do take a lead from it. Having said that, we always want to have a global perspective, and there's very few times in history where everything is moving in the same direction at every quarter of the world. Having balance around the world really helps them.
So it's not, and I've been waiting to say this for the duration of the interview, it's not Mission Impossible, which you guys have your new cars in. Which cars will we see in Mission Impossible, and which ones are affordable?
It's a great movie, and I think Tom Cruise uses our vehicles. You see in the movie the M3, which is a very sporty car. You see an X5 plug-in hybrid, so zero emissions. You'll see it on the stand here, just going into the marketplace. You'll see the RR motorcycle, which an awful lot of motorcycles are seen doing some pretty rough things in the film.
What I didn't hear you say is something that could maybe compete with the Tesla SUV that everyone's expecting. When is BMW going to have some sort of Tesla killer on the market?
We have the i3 and the i8. We are into our second full year.
Those aren't SUVs.
They're not SUVs, but I mentioned the X5 plug-in hybrid. This is a car that has zero emissions, around 35 kilometers, and a CO2 footprint that just a few years ago would have been unheard of in a very large vehicle. We think that the plug-in hybrids really do have a role to play, because you get the best of both worlds. You can drive in the city, zero emissions, and of course you can drive out in the countryside for as long as you wish, and you've got all the performance and the space.
We've got a new X1 coming out. It's a little bit bigger. I get more headroom, or I get more visibility. Yep. Tell me about it.
X1's been a great success. We were first into the segment some 7 years ago. We've done 730,000 of them, probably a few more by the time the final run out is there. New car is a little bit bigger, a little bit higher seating position, very flexible, fantastic piece of design. I'm really excited about it.